Welcome everyone formally to today's webinar. We're back for 2023, 5 workforce engagement strategies you need to know. I'm Rachel and I'm your webinar chairperson today. Also delighted to welcome back 2 brilliant speakers to our webinar programme. Bob, Stella from Indeed.com, welcome back.
Thank you, Rachel.
Well, would you like to give a bit of an introduction to who you are?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, I'm Bob, Stella. I work at Indeed at the moment, but I've been working in the contact center industry for about 20 years in lots of different companies. And I've had the pleasure and privilege of experiencing really different ways of running these kind of operations, from the very small to the very large multinational ones. And I hope that I can bring something to the table about, these different takes and points of view about how we can engage our workforce.
Brilliant. Well, welcome back, and so great to have you on board. Also, welcome back Jay Gupta from Talkdesk. Welcome, Jay.
Thank you. Great to be back. Yes, it's lovely to be back. And yeah, as you said, I'm Rachael Gupta. I'm Director of Product Marketing for AI and Automation at Talkdesk. I've been with Talkdesk for 3 years now, but been in the business of sort of B2B technology for a really long time, and absolutely love anything and everything to do with contact centers and bringing new innovations and technology to the contact center. So really looking forward to this discussion. Great.
Well, delighted to have you both on our webinar today. So before we begin, I just wanted to go through a quick bit of housekeeping. So for people who have joined previous webinars, just to let you know, we're now actually using the chat function within Zoom. So if you want to join in today's discussion, there's quite a bit going on already. So you just click the chat function, chat box down here, and it brings up a new window. The added advantage of being in that chat room is that we are offering our usual prize for best tip. We're going to give a gift card away, so just write #question if you'd like to ask our panel a question, or write #tip if you'd like to share your top tips for workforce engagement strategies or things that you've been doing. Just a reminder that we are taking a recording of today's webinar, and that will be available later on this afternoon on this link. We'll also email it out to you as well, so don't worry. Before we begin, I just want to run a quick poll, so let me just share that with you. And the question is, do you measure call centre agent satisfaction before and after new initiatives are introduced? Is it yes, no, or don't know? Bob, what are your thoughts if you were a betting person?
If there wasn't not consistently, I'd probably vote for that.
Okay.
But maybe I would say there would probably be more no's than yeses.
It's almost like you can see my screen. I'm going to quickly end the poll and share the results. Yeah, 61% of people saying no, they don't measure it. 24% saying yes, and 15% saying don't know. So something definitely potentially to already add. There's no point having a new initiative if you don't know whether it's successful or not. So yeah, I'm going to stop sharing and hand over the baton to you, Bob.
Thank you. So just give me a second. Okay, share screen. Okay, can you see my screen?
I can, yes.
Fantastic. Okay, thank you. So like we said, like Rachel said in the title, we're going to be sharing 5 different strategies today. I get the privilege of doing 3 of those, and Jay will come up with the last 2 in a second. I'm going to focus, focusing a little bit in my presentation, specifically on communication for change. And that's because I think change is a hugely emotive part of how we go about creating the working environment for all our people. It's at those points that really you can upset your staff, or you could create that moment of feeling part of the whole organization and its success. And communication is the only tool we have available to do that, to influence how people feel about it and are ready for that change and want to contribute to it and to the ongoing success. I'm going to take 3 levels of it. I'm going to look at this from 3 different levels, sorry. A tactical level, like something immediately that we can do today to make a difference. A bit more of a strategic view of how do we create a framework for communication and change that makes it successful, and then a visionary point just to help us get there. And I chose the picture of the puzzle because, you know, you can look at putting down the one piece, and this is the piece that we need to put down next. We can look at a strategy and approach to say, maybe we'll just start with a frame first. Let's do the outside of the puzzle first and work our way in. But then also having a vision is really important. Having that box there to tell you, this is the picture that we're trying to build. This is where we're heading. That's the key, right? Without that, it really slows down everything else. So that's why I wanted to include it. So let's get started. Tactical, first of all. And I'm taking this from coaching, right? I'm a huge fan. We've been using coaching for ages across our industry. Everyone's been very familiarized and well-educated, I think, in the way that coaching works. And one of the kind of important features about a successful coaching experience is around this will do section of the GROW model. We have to empower the person that we're coaching to make a decision and choose what they're going to commit to. That's what makes the whole coaching experience, I think, so much more successful than training. We're not just telling people what to do, we help them make the right decision. That happens as well in the way that we communicate to people, and we can apply this to everyday communication by really delegating decisions and opportunities for decision instead of just delegating information or cascading information or just giving tasks out to people. I'll give you some examples, thanks to my collaborators here, my stick people. Here's a manager saying, or a WFM analyst, we have optimized your breaks, please adhere to your schedules. And that happens every day in call centers around the world. Another one could come in and say, the report shows your handling time, your average handling time is too high. Completing this training will help you improve it. It's all very helpful. We're doing work for people to make their daily life easier, but it doesn't necessarily drive engagement. And thinking about how we can rephrase these things like, here are the best times to take breaks, work with your team to decide who's going and when, moves some of the decision-making to our target audience, and means that all of a sudden, they need to listen and pay attention to the information you're sharing so that they can make that decision. Otherwise, they can't go on break, right? And when you're cascading information like, hey, we're going to be busy at this time and quiet at this time, this is how you generate interest in that and make people feel like they're contributing to that decision. The same with handling time and training, etc. Saying, well, which matrix do you want to focus on next to help you increase your bonus next month? Might be a better way to do it, even though you know as the manager that it's going to be handling time because that's the one you're suffering on. Leaving that little room for that choice is important. And then even to which training do you think will help you the most? It's just driving participation into the way we communicate. And there are clear benefits, in my experience, of delegating decisions rather than tasks. You get that higher commitment to the outcomes that you're aiming for. You get to build a sense of purpose in the participation, higher attention to the information that you're sharing. And then you also continue to develop your participants. You teach them how to think. You teach them how to digest that information and use it for decision making. And that's great if we're developing leaders of the future, analysts of the future, etc. So here's my tactical takeaway for the day: delegate decisions. So moving on to strategic. I'm going to focus on growth mindset. I love this model. It's based on the book by Carol Dweck called Mindset. Here's a picture of Carol. And the basic idea behind growth mindset, in case you haven't heard about this, is that in most situations, you either have a fixed mindset or a growth mindset about things. And in a fixed mindset, it just means that, for example, if we're talking about your mindset about intelligence, you might believe that intelligence is fixed. You have an IQ, I've been tested, I'm here, this is how good I can possibly be, no more, no less, right? That's my level. If you have that belief ingrained in you, you also think that, well, natural talent defines what you can do. It's a symbol of that higher ability in that particular field, intelligence, playing the piano, drawing, whatever it is. It also means you're good at something if it comes easy to you. It shows, it demonstrates that talent. And finally, and this is the scary bit, it means that when you start failing at something, well, you've peaked, you've hit that limit. And from here on, there's stuff that you can't do because it's above you. And that does not feel good, I can guarantee you. On the other hand, in the growth mindset, there's a base belief that intelligence can grow. I'm disintelligent now, but if I apply myself to drawing better or playing the piano or learning how to do Excel spreadsheets, that can easily grow. That goes that natural talent is only a head start. It's not demonstrating who you are. It just gives you a bit of an advantage, but anyone can catch you up and you can continue to grow beyond that. It means that you're not learning anything if it comes easy to you, right? If it comes easy, it's because you could already do it. And the point at which you can't do anything, or you struggle to do something, well, that's the point from which you start to learn. This is fundamental in setting ourselves up for engagement in a workplace that's changing, that's trying to change its outcome and improve. Because people with a growth mindset will be more resilient to the inevitable knocks that change brings with it. And the difficulties that people have in meeting new challenges that they couldn't deal with before and having to learn new things and explore new things. There are obstacles in our way to creating a growth mindset, though. Some things we do just reinforce having a fixed mindset, like we celebrate results over effort every day, especially in our industry. And that's a bit scary because it's very easy to get good results if you just repeat the same thing. And if effort isn't valued and celebrated, then it's difficult to then go and chase new opportunities that are riskier for you. We compliment things that are easy. We say people, oh, you make that look easy. You know, that's a standard compliment that should be wiped off our language. It should be removed completely because it completely just reinforces that fixed mindset, that belief that unless it's easy, then you're not good at it. And then we continually celebrate individualism, we champion some people over others, etc. And that reinforces that fixed mindset that, oh, well, I'm better than you, etc. There are things that happen that stunt our growth as well, like the fear of personal judgment. Whenever we're pitched against other people, we have a lot of mechanics in the way that we reward people that are based on a, if I win, you lose, or if you win, I lose mechanic. And all of those things that anything to do with stack ranking works like that are detrimental to helping us build a growth mindset. In situations where we have no room for error, we have fear, stress, anxiety, all of those things really stunt our ability to have the growth mindset. So we need to resolve those things. And we can take action like really quickly from the lowest level in the organization. Like I'm responsible for sending out a lot of reports, for example, and the design of those reports is important. So for example, here's an example. We've got a bunch of people in the team, Jeff, Jemima, John, Juan, and Juliet, and you. And then you're ranked against whatever metrics you want to use in your contact center. I've just used average handling time, our sales revenue, customer satisfaction, and then a total ranking. And we've got to think not about sharing this information. This is important information that we need, but how does it make you feel? As a manager, what would they be thinking in terms of how should I manage my team when I see information laid out like that? You'd probably be driven by looking at the lowest performers and comparing them to the top performers, getting them maybe to share the information, but you're pitching people against each other. And then even worse, what will my manager think of me? As a rep, knowing that this is how my manager is looking at our performance, how does that make you feel? And that's not conducive to you thinking about experimenting, trying new things, learning, pushing harder. You want to play it safe. In contrast, we could represent the same data in a slightly different layout, where instead of picking the weak at the top and seeing how your team's performing, you pick a character in the team, a rep, an agent, and you see how they've been performing over time, And immediately you get into a situation where every single rep or agent in your contact center is competing against themselves, is just trying to get to their personal best. This is an environment which encourages everyone to do better and to have a growth mindset. Benefits of a growth mindset is only one, really. It's to build a culture that is ready for learning and open for change. And it's hugely important. So, final tip from me is the visionary one. And just before we move into this, we've prepared a little poll for everyone. So, Rachel, over to you to share the question.
Yeah, I'm going to share that. So, have I?
Yeah, I can.
Oh no, I'm going to redo that. Sorry, relaunch the poll. There we go. So you might have to expand it because Zoom very sillily doesn't like to show all the actual options. So we want you to tick everything that you've been asked. Yeah, Bob, did you want to explain that a little bit more?
Just, if you think about all the engagement surveys that we do, the annual survey, we might do quarterly, etc., which type of questions do you get asked in your company? That's what we want to know.
Fab. So have you been asked, are you engaged at work?
Yeah.
Do you have any suggestions for what we can do better? Do you feel your leadership team communicates its vision well? Do you have coaching conversations with your manager? Do you find coaching conversations help you improve your work? And tell us about your most engaging job ever, even from other companies. Right, I'll give you a few more seconds to click that. And then I'm going to end the poll and share the results. So 80% of people have said yes to, do you have suggestions for what we can do better? 70%, do you feel your leadership team communicates its vision well? 63%, are you engaged at work? 60%, do you find coaching conversations help you improve your work? 53%, do you have coaching conversations with your manager? And 13%, tell us about your most engaging job ever, even from other companies. So Bob, I don't know whether you wanted to explain a bit of that.
So I will. This is fascinating, and thankfully exactly what I was hoping to see. Right?
Well done, audience.
Focus on, what can we do next, but very little on, what is it that means engagement. Tell us about your most engaging job ever to help you understand what engagement means to you. And the trouble with a lot of these surveys is that they focus on the things that whoever wrote the survey thought were important. And we don't get a chance to say, actually, what is it that's important to us? What are we aiming for? The one encouraging thing in the result is that we have more people that check if coaching is effective than people that just check if coaching is happening. And that's really good. Unexpected. I thought it would be the other way around. And I put it in there to be cheeky. But that's really actually encouraging that 60% of people are checking if coaching is actually helping us improve the things it's done to do. Okay, no, thank you for that. So the reason why I think the last question that only 13% of people get asked is important is because of this, right? Oh, is it going to move? There we go. Direction. If you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. And the trouble with going into engagement and asking people, what should we do next, is that we haven't often defined where it is that we're going. So you get a myriad of different things that aren't cohesive to an outcome. It's like if I was trying to walk from Belfast to Dublin by asking people in the street, hey, where should I step next? Instead of saying, hey, where's Dublin? And taking a step in that direction. You can imagine that instead of the 32 hours that Google Maps says it'll take, this is going to take me a lot longer if I just ask for randomly, what steps should I take next? We have to define where we're going. We have to create that map of our destination, a clear sense of vision of our future for engagement. Otherwise, we just will never reach it. There's ways to do that. And I want to share the tool I use to map those that vision of a great place to work. The first question, and I would encourage you all to think of this, maybe write down some answers as well as we do it. The first question to answer is this. Think of your most engaging job ever. The job where you most enjoy doing, the thing you were paid to do. This is not the job you like going to because we did a lot of pizza breaks or pizza parties or social events, etc. You enjoyed doing the thing you were paid to do. I'm sure you've all thought of it by now. Now think of why it was so engaging. And again, there'll be things coming to your mind pretty quickly. And what will be, shared between most and expected are things like, I had a sense of purpose. I could really make a difference to my company. I was learning as I was doing this. The stuff that's unexpected and you don't get through in normal surveys is things like you were probably working overtime for free and certainly beyond the number of hours you were being paid. This was quite a stressful job. You did not choose this job because it was being paid a lot more than average and you felt that this was easy money. Okay, this is probably hard going. And that's true with, I must have run this question and workshops on this with nearly 1,000 people by now. And this is common across the board. What we do next to help us map exactly what a great place to work means is to ask people to focus on 4 specific aspects of that most engaging job ever. Think about your direct manager, how they worked with you and how they made you feel and what they did for you. They never just took over your job, but they still made you do stuff that you couldn't do and pushed you and maybe supported you when you needed to, helped you link with other people, helped you realize your potential. Think about your teammates and peers. You know, the ones that actually came to you for questions and you felt quite open to go to them for questions. There was that mutual respect and relationship. They were quite sociable. They weren't necessarily your best friends, but you knew how to work with them. That's the important thing. Everyone pitched in and put their weight in. What about your role and responsibilities in that role, in that job? Think about the fact that you could make a difference and you had autonomy and it played on your skills and helped you develop new ones. And finally, your company. And for most people, these jobs were in companies that at the time were growing. We were successful, we were making money, we were achieving our objectives. It's a company also that respected me as a human being, which is something we touched on at the very start of this, of the webinar and the discussion before we joined. And finally, once you've collected all this information, well, map it, put it together, summarize it. And you can create some beautiful maps about what a great place to work is. And I've got some here to share. Here's one we made in Dublin a few years ago. It spins, that's how good it is. And we categorize the different kind of high level things and put some of the wording from that the guys used in the workshops. This represents about 150 people of a contact center. This is actually my own team right now. And you can see that the 4 different angles there. They want to have a manager that releases potential, is an effective communicator, respectful of them, and leads by example. So that's my job to do that. And at the end of the year, we used it to say, right, think about all the things that we've changed through the year. And let's put pluses and minuses about what's working better, what's working worse than before. We've got some minuses, we've got work to do, and we talk about it. And it gives us a place to talk about these difficult things. But it also allows us to show where there's been progress. And you can see that at the end of the year, we've got more pluses than minuses. Here, we're moving in the right direction. We're becoming more of a great place to work. Another board from Hove that I really liked. Again, they use that pluses and minus model around there. This one was my favorite at the time. And my change management team, we used this a lot to communicate new projects that were coming in. Anything that we were doing will have an impact, whether it's introducing new options for shift start times or a new robot that automated something, and down to schedule adherence and explaining why that's important in terms of building better collaboration with people and reliability between others to cover for you whenever you're scheduled out for a meeting. All of those things were explained in the language provided to us by our audience so that it could relate directly to how we thought a change was going to make them feel, and they could tell us, actually, is that true or not? And we get a genuine conversation about how anything at all can impact their place of work. And you can get very creative with these boards. You might have noticed that every single board so far has been different. This one looks like an actual map, which makes me very happy. The benefits of having a great place to work are huge. It establishes a clear destination. It makes all change feel like steps in the same journey, removing that change fatigue that we often have. We know that success of any project actually builds momentum for the next one. Hey, this is going well. It's making us more of a great place to work. What's the next thing you're going to do? You don't often get that in a contact center. It gives you a mandate for making people-centric decisions. I can't involve my team in every decision I make about the work that they do, but I can take that map with me. And when I decide what work to accept or not, or how to split it, I can keep that in mind and relate it back to them that, hey, I made this decision, this is how it's going to impact us, and this is why I made it. And it's really important to be able to do that, to have credibility with your team. This is it. Thank you very much. I did have, sorry, one last slide. Very quick. I'm conscious I'm over time. Just a quick summary. So delegate decisions, communicate for growth, set a clear destination for engagement, and finally, do all of that backwards. Don't start from the top. Actually set that vision where you're going first, then create a framework in which people are accepting of that change. And then, if it's appropriate, delegate decisions in a way that helps you build that growth mindset and contributes to whatever vision of the future you've chosen to build to yourself. Thank you very much. That's everything now.
Thank you very much for that, Bob. I'm going to share my screen. Actually, before we get into our top tips and questions, we just had a question come in, Bob, from Jennifer asking, is there a tool that can create those sorts of boards on a virtual platform, as most of our team is working from home? I don't know if you had any thoughts.
I mean, they were all created in PowerPoint.
There you go.
so that's how we did that. And then you can share PowerPoint via email or many other ways. But yeah, they were all just hand-drawn. I have never built a tool that automatically does it for you. If anyone's clever enough to do that, I'd love to hear from them.
And I think on things like Zoom and everything, you can have like a collaborative whiteboard and everything, and different people can write different sections. So that would be definitely one. So yeah, so lots of tips and questions coming in. So I'm going to try and whistle through a few. We've had a tip in from Anne-Marie who said, it's so important to let change happen with people rather than to people. This is a fundamental way of getting engagement into a really good space. Yeah, I like that one. James has said, have weekly evolve or repeat meetings with your team. We should all evolve daily. If we repeat, we need to revisit where changes are needed. It should all be collaborative with the team. Jay, I think that's definitely an important aspect of it.
Absolutely, yeah, no, it's good advice.
Fab. Paolo said, get to know your people and truly care about them. Spending some time to get their onboarding right and ensure they feel open door policy towards the management makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Bob, you're agreeing. Yep. We've had one in. I'm going to move this to the side. So perception is reality. How a co-worker perceives their situation in reality to them. Once we understand, they may see the company's end goal, and how we are or can get there is different, and that's okay. We can start using more positive reinforcement terms and phrases instead of I, me, you, them. They, to point out any successful or failure, modify it to an inclusive term of we and us. This creates a sense of involvement and not the sense of being singled out, gloating, etc. So Dermot's asked a question, how do we successfully develop that bond with teammates where the company has moved to a work from home first model? Bob, I don't know whether you had any thoughts?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, apart from the fact that there's obviously sharing and collaborative platforms out there from Team and Zoom and Slack and lots of others, for me, it's really important to design our work in a way that it pushes people to collaborate and think of each other, like more awareness about, how does your work lead on to the work of others. For example, whenever we pass information, more awareness about how the complaint teams handles cases after we deal with them, and time to think about, hey, how can we do our work differently so that maybe it's easier for a complaint team to deal with and resolve it for our customers? What can we learn from them? So creating spaces in our team meetings to think about collaboration. Whether those team meetings happen on Zoom or in real life does not matter. It makes you feel more part of the organization as a whole, and then immediately around your team. And the other thing we try to do as well, I've tried to do in the past, is to create a bit of specialization within the team. So someone maybe looks at more like, how do we really get empathy through with customers, what's really effective there. Others that specialize in really understanding the robotics capability or AI capability that our company does, and shares back with the team to say, hey, I think we could do this and that, wouldn't it be helpful? Can we send this suggestion over to the robotics team? Things like that. So creating those kind of different identities in the team forces them to then collaborate and gives them a sense of identity within that group.
Fab. And Jay, would you like to add anything further?
Yeah, I mean, for us, when we speak with our customers, the majority would say have adopted a work from home model. So it's very much here to say, and even since we've kind of now, it's been 3 years almost since the pandemic, for a lot of contact centers, I think a lot of it comes down to having the right tools and the kind of the staff feeling empowered to be able to solve problems, even though they're not in the same room as their colleagues and supervisors and so forth. So feeling a sort of a sense of closeness, and that help is always available, but at the same time having that autonomy to be able to solve customer problems without necessarily being in the office.
Brilliant. I'm just going to do a few quick extra tips. Suzanne said, I found the simplest way to gain buy-in and engagement is to involve the wider team in the planning and decision-making process. I definitely think very important with that. Yeah, Bob, definitely agreeing.
Completely, 100%.
And Jennifer said, the team members create the agenda topics for the meetings with the stakeholders. They share what they notice and want further understanding on. Also, changes are presented to them before implemented, when possible, to have opportunity to ask questions before it goes into effect. Fab. Yep.
Yeah,
well,
like all of these things are so applicable in any situation. Doesn't matter if you're working from home again or not. Or this is just a different way of thinking, and it's so nice to see and refreshing to see all these tips coming through.
Brilliant. Well, there's many more coming through, but I'm going to hand over the baton to Jay to take us through her presentation.
Yeah, okay.
I'll stop sharing.
So 1 second. And hopefully you can see my screen now.
I can, yes.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so tell you a little bit more about Talkdesk. So if you haven't heard of us, we are a cloud contact center solution provider. We help businesses transform their customer experience, particularly with advanced automation and AI-powered solutions. And we are a very proud recognized leader in the Gartner Magic Quadrant for the contact center as a service category. And very recently, we received the Customer's Choice distinction in the 2023 Gartner Peer Insights Voice of the Customer for the CCaaS category. And this is based on direct peer experiences of implementing and operating a CCaaS solution. Okay, so 2 workforce engagement strategies that you need to know. So I'm going to start off with the first one. And this is really based on the concept of employee lifetime value, or ELTV for short. This is the idea that each employee delivers a quantifiable amount of value or impact over the course of their tenure with an organization. And although this is quite a common concept in the world of human resources and talent, it's less commonly used in the contact centers. And as you can see from the chart here, an agent's value starts out negative when they're first hired. And that gradually increases as they receive training and start serving customers. Ideally, their value will continue to grow as they gain experience and develop their skills. So the question is, how can we increase their value even further? And so by focusing on key areas such as employee engagement, ongoing training and development, and creating a positive workplace culture, we can unlock the potential of our agents and create a win-win scenario that benefits both the employees and the organization. So I'll start at the beginning with how to reduce that time to value in the onboarding stage. It can take up to about 6 months for some contact centers to ramp up their new employees and be ready to offer for those new employees and new agents to be able to offer that optimal customer service. And that's a significant period of time when you have new hires that are potentially operating somewhat inefficiently and are perhaps likely to make mistakes. So accentuating that issue is the fact that in the first 90 days on the job, which can be a particularly stressful period for a new agent, that's actually a critical period for long-term retention. And these numbers are underscore the importance of putting a flawless onboarding process into place that sets new agents up for success, but also reducing the time it takes for them to fully ramp. Now, of course, in short-staffed contact centers, it's common for customer wait times to spiral out of control. Managers often don't have the luxury of easing new agents into the job by taking the time required to provide them with the skills and knowledge they need to succeed. So as a result, many contact centers expose new agents to customers before they're really ready, and actually that leads to stress and negative reactions that can increase the likelihood of early burnout. Now, this experience is all too common, and as we can see from the quote here from Gallup, less than 1 in 3 new hires feel as if they've been effectively onboarded and prepared to succeed in their new role. So by applying the right technology, organizations can balance these competing priorities and onboard agents faster without increasing the risk of failure. So the importance of onboarding cannot be overstated. The purpose of onboarding is really, as I said earlier, to set new hires up for long-term success within the organization. And this involves not only introducing them to their roles and responsibilities, but also ensuring that they understand the company's culture and values. So a successful onboarding program can reduce the turnover and increase productivity and improve employee engagement. It's essential to provide new hires with tools and resources that they need to excel in their roles, including training and support. And by investing in the tools to support the onboarding and beyond, you can ensure that your new hires feel welcomed, valued, and prepared to make a positive impact within the organization. So meet Edgar. He is a real-life customer service agent and a TikTok influencer. In fact, that's how I discovered him. So Edgar was recently hired as a contact center agent. He has a lovely personality, great people skills, and has all the qualities that should make him a great hit with customers. But Edgar doesn't like wasting his time with slow systems and drudgery. What sets Edgar apart is his genuine passion for helping customers. He's not just going through the motions, he genuinely cares about making their experience as positive as possible. So by leveraging his great communication skills and empathetic manner, he's good at building relationships with people and making them feel heard and valued. And Edgar is a reminder that customer service is more than just about solving problems. It's about really making that connection and leaving a lasting impression. So with agents like Edgar on the front lines, companies can build a reputation for outstanding customer service and create loyal customers who keep coming back. And Edgar is a results-driven person. He thrives on being able to solve problems quickly and efficiently. He has little patience for slow systems and manual tasks that get in the way of his productivity. Edgar values his independence and prefers a role where he can take ownership of customer issues and resolve them without having to escalate them to supervisors. So when Edgar started his new job in the contact center, he was excited initially about putting his customer service skills to the test. However, quickly, he got quite frustrated by the difficulty of finding information and quite overwhelmed with the manual admin work that seemed to come with each call. So the onboarding process as well wasn't quite what he expected. It was quite frustrating, and it left him feeling quite unsupported and undervalued. So after a month, he had enough, and he called a recruitment agency and said, yeah, I've had enough and I want a new job. So, companies that prioritize, efficient processes and comprehensive onboarding can retain talent like Edgar, who are, passionate people who really want to deliver exceptional customer service. So coming back to the ELTV chart, in order to maximize the value of our workforce, we need to consider all the stages as shown in this chart. So the first stage is improving the onboarding experience to reduce that time to value for employees like Edgar and make them become a fully contributing member of the team as quickly as possible. The second stage is maximizing performance by increasing the average peak performance of the workforce. And the last stage is reducing attrition by increasing the average tenure of employees. So if staff are well supported through each of these stages, we can create a more efficient and effective workforce capable of delivering exceptional customer experiences. And while it's not simple, understanding these levers will allow us to focus on the right strategies and grow the contact center's employee lifetime value. So the onboarding experience does need to be tied in with a culture that continually empowers staff to do their best work. The onboarding process should not be an isolated event, but instead should be integrated into a larger, more widespread culture in the contact center that fosters continuous growth, learning, and improvement. And when the onboarding experience is tied in with this culture of continuous improvement, new agents like Edgar are more likely to feel welcomed and included, as well as motivated to learn, grow, and contribute value to the organization. Now, I've mentioned the word culture a few times here, and I want to quote Peter Drucker, who is a well-known management consultant, that culture eats strategy for breakfast. And what this means really is that an organization's culture is a more powerful force in driving success than its strategy alone. And in the context of workforce engagement strategies, this means that while having a well-defined engagement strategy is important, it's only one piece of the puzzle. So in order to create a more cohesive and effective approach to engaging the workforce, it's crucial to consider the role of technology and the type of technology used to support that culture. So I want to touch upon strategy 2, which is called shifting left. So technically, shifting left is a methodology or approach that comes from the software development world. It refers to moving testing and troubleshooting earlier in the development process to catch and resolve issues before they become more costly and time-consuming to fix. Though shifting left is not really a culture, it can help create a culture that requires a mindset of collaboration and communication between teams and different layers of the organization, and a willingness to adapt and iterate, and a commitment to quality and continuous improvement. And today, the concept of shifting left has made its way into the customer support world as a way to improve customer experience, reduce costs, and simplify support activities by moving support and fulfillment as close to the front line and customers as possible. And this approach helps to speed up the time to resolution and minimize the chaos of customer service requests. And the ultimate business benefit of shifting left is that you can reduce costs and resolve customer issues faster. And this is primarily achieved by shifting problem-solving skills down to the front line and the customers. And so the benefits are that you are building stronger relationships with customers. So a definite byproduct of being closer to your customer is a steady increase in the personal interactions with the rest of the business. Customers will enjoy the way the frontline shares knowledge. They'll appreciate the approachable attitude. And as an extension, they will also feel more connected to your company as a brand, which promotes future business from those customers. The second benefit is that you're empowering customers to solve their own issues. So bringing solutions closer to the customer restores balance to the force, so to speak. So today, too many customers use traditional technologies and traditional channels to throw any issue at customer service. So outsourcing some of these problems to the customers decreases that workload and allows the customers to be the heroes of their own story. And they won't have to be, waiting in line for you to fix minor problems. And the third thing is it gives you more time for more interesting tasks. It doesn't always have to be about the customer, right? At the end of the day, the quality of your customer service highly depends on the attitude and motivation of the people delivering it. And the idea of shifting left is that you share knowledge to let each line of support, including the customer, solve more challenging issues than they did before. And if you outsource your simplest tasks, you have more time for more interesting and challenging tasks. And the illustration here really makes that apparent why the concept is called shifting left. And the fourth thing is that customer service knowledge is always available to the whole team when you have a shifting left approach. So shifting left is driven by a customer support methodology that places the creation and sharing of knowledge at the heart of every customer interaction. So knowledge is just quite simply, becomes power. The systems used to capture catalog and share that power becomes the contact center's most significant offering throughout the whole of journey towards, shifting left. And at Talkdesk, we develop, we put a lot of focus on developing tools and features for contact centers that, makes shifting left possible. And this is primarily about shifting left towards self-service and digital channels that can have many benefits for a business, including increased efficiency, reduced costs, and improved customer satisfaction. However, to fully scale this approach and realize its potential, it's crucial to have the right tools in place, such as a virtual agent and agent assist, but powered by technology that offers the scale, intelligence, and agility. And that's why we advocate the use of AI and automation. Talkdesk recognizes that there is a need for this and has developed advanced automation solutions using AI to help businesses successfully shift left and optimize their operations for maximum success. And with the right technology, businesses can provide their customers with a better experience while also improving the workforce productivity and overall business outcomes. So let's talk about AI. And at this point, I want to ask you all a question. Rachel, would you?
Yes, I will share that. Right, so we're asking, don't know whether that's actually working. Oh, no, I'm going to relaunch the poll. There we go. Who's heard of ChatGPT? Yes, and I've tested it out. Yes, but I haven't tried it yet, or no idea what we're talking about. So, Jo, what are you hoping to see?
I'm hoping to see that, yes, but I haven't tried it yet. I was expecting, but I have tested it out, hopefully. That's what I'm hoping for. But I hopefully, it will be a yes answer. Will be
Okay.
where the majority will be, but we'll see.
Fab. I will end the poll and share the results. So 41% saying yes, but haven't tried it yet. 38% saying no idea, and 21% saying yes, and they've tested it out. Disappointed, Jay?
No, this is interesting. I mean, I think overall, most people are have heard of it, which is great.
Yeah.
So I think not at all disappointed, and I think that sort of does confirm that it has hit mainstream news, right? So
okay. I will stop sharing and let you carry on.
Okay, so I hadn't really anticipated to talk about ChatGPT, but I think we're at a point now where it's worth a mention. So ChatGPT, it represents a significant achievement in the field of AI and natural language processing. It's a small step for AI because it's just one instance of a larger trend of sort of technology advancements in the field. But it's a giant leap for language because it represents a major breakthrough in the ability of machines to understand and generate human-like language. And so the statement here is really just highlighting the potential of AI to transform the way we communicate and interact with machines, and to open up new possibilities for innovation and progress in many different fields, including customer service. And interesting fact, I read recently that it took ChatGPT just 5 days to reach 1 million users. And if you compare that to, say, Netflix, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, that's amazing. But in all seriousness, ChatGPT is really about language, as I mentioned, and language is at the core of what contact centers do, right? It's why the impact of the AI models that underpin ChatGPT, they're called large language models, will have a profound impact on the customer service world. So ChatGPT uses these large language models, and these models are designed to understand and generate human language. They have the ability to analyze vast amounts of text, learn from it, and generate new text that is often indistinguishable, couldn't say that word, from something that a human might write. So these models are designed to answer questions, provide recommendations, and even generate responses. They are trained on enormous amounts of data, as I said, which allows them to learn and understand the nuances of human language and can provide more accurate and helpful responses. And we're fortunate because these large language models are used in a wide variety of applications, including customer service chatbots, assisting agents with their work, they have the potential to greatly improve the quality of interactions underpinned by technology like AI and make lives easier and more efficient. And I want to quote my colleague, Ben Rigby. Language is at the core of what the contact center does, and it's why the impact of LLMs, large language models, will have a profound, large language models on customer service is so profound. These, as I said, the impact is going to be significant. And if we just think about where we are today, we're moving towards the era of large language models and generative AI. So generative AI is a more of an umbrella term. And it's a leap forward for any business that deals in language. And in the world of contact center technology, we're seeing an evolution from the days of switchboards to on-premises solutions to the cloud, and now AI that is underpinned by the same large language models that supports tools like ChatGPT. And at Talkdesk, we're at the forefront of helping to transform and really revolutionize the contact center industry by infusing AI into tools. And now we are leveraging large language models for improved performance. This integration is leading to better self-service capabilities, faster after-call work, quicker and more effective responses to customer inquiries, and actionable insights that helps organizations make better informed decisions. And in recent times, we've actually worked quite considerably to try and integrate large language models, and we've launched our first LLM-powered feature that automatically summarizes the key points of a customer interaction. It automatically suggests the core disposition and follow-up actions. And this is a cutting-edge feature powered by, as I mentioned, the same models that are underpinning ChatGPT. And so with this new capability, Talkdesk users can significantly improve their contact center performance by automating mundane tasks and allowing agents to focus on more critical tasks that require human intervention. And overall, we believe this will be a game changer. So here is the feature. It's a small but powerful button that can transform the agent experience. With just one click, this button can summarize the key points. And this basically means that you can save 30 to 60 seconds, perhaps more, from every interaction, freeing up more time to focus on other important tasks. And this will not only save time, but also improves customer satisfaction by providing faster and a more efficient service. And, boosting workforce engagement with AI-powered time-saving automations means that you have these micro and quick automated processes throughout to help employees save time on routine tasks. In addition to summarizing interactions, there are many more time-saving automations that we're working on, like generating responses or evaluating an interaction that will lead to more automated workflows, making staff more efficient and effective and productive, and hopefully having a positive impact on their engagement and overall job performance. So let's take a moment to think about our friend Edgar. So while he may not be particularly interested in AI, he does deeply care about how he spends his time at work, right? As an employee, he values being in a job that empowers him with the necessary tools to solve customer problems effectively. And this is a sentiment shared by many workers in today's fast-paced business environment. So when employees are equipped with the right tools and resources, they can work more efficiently and effectively. And this leads not only to better customer satisfaction, but of course, a more engaged workforce. Therefore, it is important to invest in technology that can help support your team's success, even if even if you're not kind of directly interested in the technology itself. Like Edgar, as I said, he doesn't care about AI. So by doing so, you can help ensure your employees have what they need and excel in their roles to deliver exceptional customer experiences. So in the case of Edgar, as I said, he may not care about AI, but he does care about having the right tools to do his job well. And as decision makers in the contact center, it's important that you keep this in mind and prioritize investments that can help employees be successful and satisfied in their work. Okay, so to sum up, if you're looking for effective strategies to improve workforce engagement, consider these two approaches. So measuring employee lifetime value and shifting left with AI. And by tracking the ELTV, you can determine long-term value for each employee and tailor engagement efforts accordingly. And by leveraging AI to shift left, you can empower employees with the tools and information they need to solve problems on their own and boosting their confidence and engagement. And with that, thank you. Back to you. Rachel.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for that, Jay. I'm just putting up a poll to see if people would like to see a demonstration of the Talkdesk solutions. So to learn more about the AI side and everything, if you could just mark that. I'll just leave that up for a bit. But thank you very much, Jay. That was really insightful, and hopefully people have learned a lot more about ChatGPT thanks to that. So fab. Just going to end the poll and share my screen. So yeah, lots been happening in the chat room. So I'm going to try and whistle through a few more before we come to the end of the webinar. So Mike said, celebrate demonstration of organization values as well as performance and productivity. I think a really lovely one, Bob, celebrating everything.
Yeah.
So Arif said, have a goal, a result goal and an effort goal, practice teaching, not preaching. So Laurie's tip is have a graduation party for new hires, provide data to show them how they've helped the organization, service level increase, percentage of calls or number of calls taken, adherence, quality scores, etc. I've never seen that before. Jay, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, if coming back to kind of my friend Edgar mentioned that he's a results-driven person. I think, showcasing the graduation party sounds amazing. I love that idea. But showing people how they've made an impact really does make people feel more kind of engaged and make them feel like, okay, I am moving the needle for this company. And I think that's what we all want to feel in our jobs, right?
Yeah, and I think we had a question in saying, as part of employee engagement, we do monthly vouchers for the top 3 best performers, but we've seen a limited number of people, the rest of the team feel demotivated because they don't get a chance to win. I think this is a great way of showing how everybody can be celebrated as opposed to just, oh, well done to the top 3.
Yeah.
So we've had a question from Arif. Oh, there we go. I've just asked it. What are your other thoughts then, Bob, on getting more of the team to feel motivated then?
Yeah, so I actually replied on the Q&A for this one.
There we go.
It clashed with 2 things that I talked about. One was these mechanics of if you win, I lose, and also the celebrating results over effort. This fails in both categories in a really great summary. But so even like other people said, looking at top improvers rather than just top performers, it just eliminates one of those problems. And yet anything that showcases the success of the team, it is more important. Even holding at the end of the induction week, have a little session where you reflect as a group about how can we make training better for the next class that comes along. Make people, even in a week in, feel part of the ongoing success of the organization. Like little things like that, and showing people, hey, your ideas were then used and implemented here. That's more important than any voucher that says your great work was worth £20. Not good.
Fab. Beth has said, plan and run regular quizzes and competitions, for example, key topics for the company, product knowledge or general knowledge to make it a bit more fun. I think we've got time for one more. He said, from Joe, who said, have clear progression and support employees to succeed. Developing your employee skill set can only be beneficial to everyone, and having a clear progression plan with milestones that senior staff support employees to achieve can do wonders. Jay, what are your thoughts on that one?
Clear progression and support employees, absolutely. And I think it's, especially if you're running a large contact center, it can be difficult to provide a kind of a personalized and customized sort of, development plan. So I think it does help to have some way of, automating the process of sort of measuring performance, but then using that to kind of as a support aid for managers to then sort of look at, the data and sort of look at where, there's been perhaps some dips in performance or been some excellent sort of like, performance moments. So yeah, I absolutely think that's a important point.
Brilliant. Well, unfortunately, we've reached the top of the hour. So we just want to ask a few questions. So in 1 or 2 words, if you could write in the chat, what did you like best about today's webinar? Today's winning tip comes in from David, who said, focus your engagement activities on people and their motivations rather than their productivity. By doing so, we retain more people and their performance improved. So the tip is roll out one-to-ones that include coaching and personal plan support rather than just metric discussion. So congratulations, we'll be in touch after the webinar. Just a reminder, we have a post-webinar survey. It's only 3 questions long and just helps us, improve our webinars. So if you could fill that one in. A reminder that a replay and slides will be available later on this afternoon on the following link, and we will be back in a month's time with what's next for customer experience. But I just want to say thank you so much to our 2 brilliant speakers today. To Bob, Stella, thank you so much for all your insights and everything. Thank you once again.
No problem.
And to Jay Gupta from Talkdesk, thank you very much for teaching us lots of things. So thank you very much.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Brilliant. I will see you in a month's time. Thank you very much, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.